It's 935 Katie. Good morning. Your girl Cece, Romeo hanging out with you. We have a special treat today,
Yes, we do, though.
We're talking about, we got MC Lyte in the building.
On the microphone.
One more time. We got MC Lyte in the building. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And of course, we got Lynn here.
Yo.
You know, Dr. Lynn, but she said we could just call her Lynn.
I
love that. I love
Lynn
that. Yes.
Money.
Yeah.
So, man, we're here, and we're going to talk about lots of things. Real quick, I got to say this. A few months ago, I had Curtis Blow in studio, right?
Okay.
Right.
A lot of firsts in hip-hop.
Yeah.
And now I have the queen of a lot of firsts in
Yeah.
hip-hop in our presence.
Hey now.
I mean, when you look back on what you've accomplished over the years, do you have a chance to embrace that, MC Lyte? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I think, in this era specifically, I'm able to see things sort of in slow motion.
Yeah.
Things are moving a lot slower, and or either I'm just slower. Just more easy.
We're on
And
cruise control now. in
Yeah,
our
there
lives.
you go. And so I'm able to, look at things in a whole different way. So I'm just blessed to have, second, third, fourth, fifth go around. God sees
Isn't
fit.
that something? Yeah.
Just have a purpose. And so with that alone, I'm able to see things clearer.
Yeah, and we were talking about off the air before you guys got up here, like, to perform at the White House. Like, I mean, what was
Okay,
that
so
like?
first of all, let's back up and do the backstory, because I'm like, yo, she is the first, artist to be at the White House, and he was like, I wonder what time, and I said, well, I think that's Barack Obama time. I don't think it's anybody else. He's like, it might have been Bill Clinton.
I said
we
it
don't know
could
yet.
have been Bill Clinton.
Who was
No,
it? You didn't
it was
know.
definitely Barack.
I see, that's what I said, because hip hop wasn't allowed before
Hey,
then.
I thought Bill Clinton might have had her rapping when he was on the saxophone or something. You never
Nah.
know. I mean, but what did that like? What did
What
that
did
feel like?
the White House?
Well, I mean, it felt great, and understand that anything that I do in front of the camera, there's like a team of people that make the thing run behind the scenes,
Exactly.
right? So it was just as exciting for everyone on the team as it was for me. So when we got the email or the call, they reached out to Lynn, who helms the management side of things. She was like, what? It was, everybody
moment.
was just super excited because it's Barack, and
Yeah.
it's the first lady who will always be our first lady.
Barack,
Forever.
that will always be my president.
Yeah.
My president is Barack Obama.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I
And I still
completely
say that to this
understand.
day.
Yeah.
I completely understand, but it was exciting. We found out why it's called the green room before you go on to the show, because the room before you perform for the president is actually green. So, I mean, that's where they got the term from. The
green room.
Oh, wait a minute. So when we say the green room, that's what it's from? Is that see, I didn't know that.
put us
I
up
had
on
no
game.
idea.
Yeah,
White
just
House
a little
101
something.
right here,
Right,
okay.
White House 101. And so, the Smokey Robinson was there, James Taylor, Carol Burnett, Usher was there to perform for that evening, and it was fantastic.
So all those people were in the house that day,
that day.
and you're there with them, and that
Yeah.
just says everything about you and what
Yeah.
you've accomplished. You know what I mean?
Did you take that moment to at least think about that?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
totally. I know you've got a funny story about the introduction.
Tell me about the introduction.
Come on, Lynn.
Well, here's the deal. You don't get to pick your titles. Your titles come to you when they come. And so they wanted to introduce her as the godmother of hip hop. So she texted, she's like, well, I don't think I should say that. I said, let me tell you something. You're going to take that title. And it was actually Queen Latifah who introduced her,
Oh, wow.
before she performed. So she called her the godmother of hip hop, and she gave her props and, being the first, but not just the first. Because there are a lot of people who are first, but MC Lyte is like the coldest. Like,
Ooh.
Come on, roughneck.
that,
That's
yes.
back to 93.
cold.
Come on now.
Yeah, she's cold.
Thank
She's
you.
cold. So
Definitely accomplished a lot, and you guys have been a team for how long now?
About
7 years.
Yeah, about 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years.
She came, we met by way of Russell Simmons, and she reached out and asked that I want to start a foundation, and I said, sure. And we had some meetings with one of our other co-founders, Felicia Shaw, who happens to be my soror. And 4 months later, we had 501c3 status, and we were giving away 2 $100,000 scholarships.
yeah.
Four weeks later.
Four
No,
months-
excuse me, 4 months.
later.
4 months later.
So since 2012, we have presented over $1 million in scholarships
Come on
at the
now.
Soul Training Boards. 4 young women have graduated with $100,000 scholarships. In 2014, when Ferguson and all of that stuff was happening, we decided to our response to what was happening to black men was to educate them. So we started #EducateOurMen. We've put young men through school. Our first 2 just graduated. One is valedictorian, the other's a scholar.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and so, looking at Lyte, what I tell people is she really is like behind the scenes, and what you see in front of the camera, it's the same person. And so, she's rapping, she's DJing, she's doing voiceover, she's running a management company, she's mentoring, and she's a philanthropist. She's also giving back. So it's a pleasure to be able to see her really spread her wings and expand and help
and the
people.
beautiful thing is every time I've ran into Lyte, I get the same Lyte every time. It's never different because you are who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're here talking together, but there'll be times when my boy DJ, when we the good fellas, we interviewed you back in the day, we walk away and be like, that's MC Lyte, like co-rock a party, like
Yes.
like we know her. Like
Yeah.
we still had those moments because it's all about hip hop. I grew up hip hop, and so when I think about that, I think about MC Lyte. I think about Queen Latifah. I think about how we were just talking about. You were just bumping the Brandy remix. Was that yesterday?
Yes, I was. I was bumping and cleaning the house.
Okay.
Who wrote the rap first for that? Because all 3 of y'all came with it on
I
that
think
remix.
everybody wrote their own.
But who set the bar? Like who went first?
I went first.
Okay, right.
I
You went first on the track.
and I said I want to be the first verse as well.
Oh,
like
really?
I was
Okay.
in the studio. Everybody recorded their verses at different times, but I was the first one to record my verse, and I also said that I wanted to be first.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they definitely honor that. I mean, yo, that track
Yeah.
still
That
bangs
still
today.
it still bumps. Yes, I mean I feel like I'll be rapping your part thinking I'm you, MC Lyte, watching my difference.
Look out. Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So we're in this business to entertain. We need money to survive, to take care of our family. And then when we talk about money, we got to talk about Lynn right here because she knows
Yes.
how to make sure
That's the Medea money.
we make it, we save it, we do the right things with it.
Yeah.
When did that become your passion?
Well, I was born and raised in Chicago. My grandmother was 75 years old, cleaning homes for wealthy people, putting me through college, and she taught me what every grandmother teaches their children. Go to school, get a good education, get a good job, go to church on Sunday, wear clean underwear in case you get hit by a bus.
My mom would say the
Yeah.
same thing. Yes.
Come
Is
on
that on
now.
the grandmama book? It's like, why I got to get hit by a bus? And so I get to college, and there's a room. I get all these credit cards. I didn't just get one. I got a bunch of them. Couldn't pay anybody. When the creditors would call and say, Lynn, can you borrow the money? I'd say, can I borrow it from you? I had all these funny answers, but when I got out in the real world, my credit was jacked up. It was just terrible. Fast forward many years later, I was making a lot of money. I'm married, white picket fence, 3 children, big house in the suburbs. But I was broke. I was living check to Monday. Check to check is a blessing. That means you get paid on Friday, and by the next payday you broke. But check to Monday is a whole nother game. You get paid on Friday, you kick it on the weekend, you pay on your past due bills.
Right.
In your mind, your current bills ain't due yet. And by Monday you broke.
Yes.
And I was living
I
that
lived
life.
check to Monday a lot of years. A lot of years.
And I was a radio show host then, and one of my callers called and said, well, Lynn, what about check to 2 o'clock? I said, let me tell you something. I ain't got time for that. Because, that's when you get paid at 8 o'clock. And by 2 o'clock, before you get off work, your check is gone.
It's gone.
And I was making $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a month. Not a year. I said a month.
Whoa.
So I spend my life helping people understand this. More money doesn't solve a money problem. If it did, millionaires wouldn't go bankrupt.
That's true.
So, I say that in our community, we got to stop buying stuff to impress people. Rich people stay rich because they act poor. And poor people stay poor because they act rich. And poor people stay poor acting rich in front of other poor people, which is real crazy. Do you understand?
Yes.
Come on now, Lynn.
Because
Yeah,
we
there you
start,
go.
you want to wear certain clothes, you want to drive a certain car, but wealthy people understand how to put our money in the right places. And so that's what I spend my life doing. And I had to really take a look at myself. I'm a member of a sorority. I was in Jack and Jill, and I was trying to keep up with the other people. And once I just started saying no, it was like once I said, nope, I'm not doing this. Nope, I'm not doing that. Everybody stopped. And it was like everybody took off their body magic and weave and got free. And so what's happening is we are trying to follow up behind an image, and the truth is there's 3 ways to get your money. Spend less money. If you only got $2 and you spend 10, you're gonna be crying.
Right.
If you got $200,000 and you spend $400,000, you're gonna be in trouble. If you got $10 million and you spend $20 million, It's the same thing.
It's living beyond your means.
Living beyond your means. So you spend less money. Number 2, get more money. Everybody should have multiple streams of income. Why? Because in America, there are 2 systems, one for employees, one for businesses. If you're an employee and you make $100,000, they're going to take $35,000 off the top. You got to figure out how to live off the remaining $65,000, pay your car note, rent, gas, all of that stuff.
Yep.
But if you have a business and you make $100,000, first, you get to expense your cell phone when you use it for business, your car note because you drive for business, your gas, your mileage. When you travel
Lunch,
for business.
dinner dates.
The IRS, I have 3 children. The IRS says you can hire your kids to work in your home-based business. You could pay each child up to $12,000 a year. That's now a tax write-off. Now, the money that you pay them, that's what they use for school clothes, school supplies, soccer, ballet, football, all the stuff you were going to pay for anyway.
Yeah.
But now it's a tax write-off. So you spend less money, you get more money, but then the number one thing is you got to learn how to get your money back. Wealthy people pay less taxes than poor people. There are over 475 tax deductions, and we usually only get about 7 or 8. So really, that's the name of the game. And when you start to learn how to move your money to the next column or to the proper column, you keep more of it in your pocket.
Woo!
Come on now.
I feel like I
Lynn
just
came
got
in
like
hot.
yes, we had a come to Jesus meeting right now, me and
Come
Lynn.
on, but it's so
It's
real.
true.
I got a question. How young can the kids be before they start working in the house?
I love those questions. So the IRS publication 15 says the maximum age is 18.
Okay.
So the rule is as long as the child can do a job that any other child could do. So I tell people you can hire your infant. Infants can model, just like the Gerber baby or the Huggies
Come
baby
on
or the
now.
Pampers baby. My youngest daughter, I have 3. She's on her way to Howard University, 18, 19, and 23. My youngest been working for me since she was 4.
Really?
So 4
Malachi
years old.
6.
4.
His
Oh
ass
yeah,
going
baby.
to
Let
work.
me tell you something. 2-year-olds. I see 2-year-olds with iPads. They had an iPad. Let me tell you something. That child can work. They can go on there. What you got? Your social media. You need to find all the blue flags. Whatever it is that you're doing in your business. So the kids can do chores around the household as a part of their job duties. They can file. They can do social media. They can do graphics. My older children run the company. They run her company.
Wow.
They run the company. They do travel. They do spreadsheets. They do bookkeeping. They do so. But if you hire your kids, so how many people even know that? Most people don't even know that.
I never knew
I'm
that.
sitting over here
And here's
dumbfounded
the
because
thing.
I'm like, I did not know that.
I love that one because, like you said, you get the tax breaks, but also, too, the way I'm looking at it and I'm listening to you, I love it because you're preparing your children.
There you go.
So when they go out in the real world, they know what time it is. You
There
know what
you
I mean?
go.
You're like, listen, baby, I'm preparing you for when you go get a job and you're working that much harder and you already know.
Excellent.
And I made
Yes,
a lot
right.
of mistakes. I filed bankruptcy. I've been in foreclosure. Like I've made every mistake possible. And the other thing that happens with our people of color, we get embarrassed. And I tell people, here's the deal. Everybody has either had a money problem, is having a money problem, or will have a money problem at some time in the future.
Fact.
It's nothing to be ashamed of. And so the first step that I tell anybody is to start tracking your expenses, every single penny that you spend. Because what we do is we say, well, it's just $10 or it's just $20. Some say money talks, but I say money walks away from you quietly and you don't know where it went. It would be nice if it said,
Come
I'm
on,
about to
man.
roll, bounce up out of here, and when you come find me, you ain't going to be there. But it don't
Bounce.
talk.
Yeah.
It don't talk at all. And so it's just all of your wealth. If you go back and look at your it's justs for the last 90 days, most of it won't even mean anything. Most of it won't even mean anything. You'll be like, why did I spend money on that? So here's the deal. Everybody has the power to be financially free because it's a simple function of mathematics that we learned in first grade. 1 + 1 = 2.
Right.
If your stuff add up to 10, you got a problem.
Yeah, you do.
So that's how you make the adjustment. And then you stay away from people who you think you need to spend more money around.
Right.
So when I hit rock bottom, now, first of all, I had a whole bunch of money. Everybody came over. They come to my house. They eat. They didn't take home a plate. They took home a trough of food. They take home a big, everybody would have food for 2 weeks. But when I didn't have anything, everybody was gone. Family members turned against me. I was paying people's mortgages. And that's my fault. They aren't responsible for that. I was making those choices. And that's the other thing. A lot of times we find ourselves in money situations because we're trying to help family. We feel guilty. We want to Let me tell you
That's
something.
me right now. That's me right now. Like I was struggling for a long time, years ago, but my mom helped me out a lot, and she stepped up to the plate. And now that I have it, I give a lot. And she tells me, "Mija, baby, you don't have to do that." But I have this guilt, like, no, you helped me when I needed it, and I want to give. So I buy luxury stuff, and my mom's like, "I'm simple, I don't need it."
Yeah.
But I do it because
Yeah.
I remember that time, and I'm so grateful. But I just keep lavishing, and she's like, "Stop."
And
Stop
there's a
doing
way-
that. You
Right.
don't get money.
Right.
There's a way to be strategic, because here's what you want to do for your mom. You want to make sure she has long-term care. My grandmother's 97. I spend a lot of money keeping her alive and well and healthy and comfortable, because at that age, whether it's assisted living or nursing home, the general population is not going to take care of her. So I tell everybody, especially our age, get your parents some long-term care. So when they lose 2 activities of daily living, whether it be bathing or eating, or they can't go to the restroom by themselves, and it doesn't have to be because they're old, they could get into an accident. They could break a leg.
Yeah.
We have disability insurance. We have insurance on every single thing. Her voice, me, if something happened to me, it would be difficult to replace me. She'd have to go pay somebody a whole lot of money. I've been a vice president at JP Morgan Chase, so there's a lot that comes to the table. So we have life insurance, business insurance, disability insurance,
Key man
insurance, like every single thing that could possibly go wrong. Because every day that you wake up, it's like I'm out here grinding. Everybody in this room, everybody who's listening, you're grinding, you're trying to get it. But what happens if you don't wake up? What happens if something goes wrong?
Yeah.
Are you protected? So give to your mom, but be strategic. Buy real estate. Buy her a piece of property that's going to generate income, and then she can go buy the stuff and go on trips and stuff like that. So it's all good. It's a learning process, and I love my people, and I love helping to change the mindset so we can just start doing the right thing.
Because we are stuck in that mindset.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And it's just,
we want to do and
generational,
give them, and when we're in that position, we almost feel obligated in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I used to take care of my mom and my sister and her kids, phone bill, or fly guys out from St. Louis to come out here and visit when I had that money, right?
Yeah.
Before the 2006, 2007 went bad.
That, 2008.
That's when I learned during that era,
Me
right?
too.
Yeah.
But
Me
I was
too.
helping everybody out and not thinking about the future.
Yep. Yep.
And that's where we lose
Yep.
focus sometimes.
That's what it is.
She
And I
spit
mean,
game,
the
though.
issue we
Yeah.
got to deal with now is retirement. Who gonna take care of you when you old?
Exactly.
I got 3 kids, but I ain't depending on them, because I think one of them will beat me. The other one will send me to, I ain't about to be bothered with that. Kennedy, Kennedy will probably beat me. I'm not
Mom,
about to
get
be
up, you
bothered
can
with
do
that.
it.
Right.
Wow.
I ain't about to depend on no millennial to take care of me, honey. You better get your
Oh
life
my
together.
God. Now I
MC
know why
Lyte.
she's on your team.
I can't be
You know what I'm
bothered.
saying?
Lynn, they call them the hip hop Oprah and Gail. I ain't mad
I
at that
love
right there.
it,
Spitting
yes.
that game. And of course, let's talk about the book you guys are combining and put together too, though. Let's talk about that.
We got a couple of
Oh,
books.
right.
Yeah, you do.
This one here, Your Man and Your Money, How to Get Them and How to Keep Them. We
me that
come
book.
from 2 different perspectives. I've been married for 24 years now. Wow. And Lyte, is just starting out in the game. And so we talk
Congratulations,
about
Lyte.
stuff.
Thank you.
Should you have joint checking accounts? What do you think about that?
Okay, so I have my boyfriend. We've been together for 5 years. The love of my life. I love you, babe.
I love
But
it.
yes, he's amazing. But we have separate bank accounts.
What do you think about that, Lynn? Is that
Well-
the way it should be? Or?
Well, she said that's her boyfriend, not her husband.
Yeah, now
Right.
this is my boyfriend. Now we want to get a house together. We're putting our money away together, so that we have.
Yeah.
And that's our savings, and we're saving together. But we have our different.
You have
we do
your
our different
different
bank
things.
accounts. Yeah.
Well, so old school, my grandmother taught me this. She said, listen, baby, what's his is yours, and what's yours is yours. And then I had to think about it. I was like, she ain't had a man in like 70 years, so I don't know if I need to listen to her. Now, look, Grandma B, that's my girl. Yeah. That's my girl. But so it was a little different for me, because even though we weren't married yet, my husband, he just gave me his whole check. And I messed it up. Like, I would spend the money. He'd want to pay rent. I'm like, no, let's go to the comedy club. So I made a lot of mistakes. I signed everything. If he went to the bank and signed his own name, they'd probably arrest him, because they can't recognize his signature, because I signed everything. But I think that couples should have separate accounts and then a joint account for the things that you're working on together. But I think each person, once you're married, you should have access to the other person's account. Because I'm just going to say me. He ain't about to go have another life and wife on me.
right.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
you know, and he can have access to mine as well, but you should still have something separate to, you know, be
So
able
even
to
when
do
you
other
marry,
things.
something separate, but still have access to it.
He'll still have access.
Okay.
And we
All
do,
right.
and when we save, we actually go together and we match it.
Oh,
so
I like that.
I'll put like my 1,000 in, he puts his 1,000 in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it has to be the same. We have to match each other because that's
Yeah.
our goal is to match so we can save for a house.
Well, but and
I love
then
it.
you know when Lyte, when you were dating, and the whole thing is because a lot of times women make more money, you know, sometimes in the relationship. And so, what was your process or your thought process with that?
Prior to getting married,
Uh-huh.
it was like he would have to meet me somewhere.
Okay.
You know, like if I was out on the road, because I've always heard you never pay for a man to get anywhere. Because when they want to get somewhere, they will come.
Oh, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, they're gonna figure
We'll
it
figure it
out.
out.
And so that was one thing, and the other was, I like nice things.
That's right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I like to eat, and I don't want to have to be less of who I am to kind of match up to something that isn't what I really want.
Right.
And so it was important for me, not that he have a whole lot of money or that he be, loaded, but to the degree that you can just keep up. And if you want to see me, you're going to have to come out on the road. So can you afford to come out on the road? So it was things like that. But I've always ended up at some point dating someone who made less money than I did.
Yeah.
But it never seemed to be an issue. Maybe
that's
once.
good.
Maybe
Yeah.
once.
One time.
Yeah.
They never got intimidated though because of that.
I think so.
I would think they
Yeah.
would.
Yeah, I think so. Which I think is sometimes it's the fault of women as well. 'Cause, I mean, I've been married 20-some years, and I'm strong and popular and successful, but I am a wife, and I look to my husband's leadership. So I don't want to be the man in the relationship. I don't want to be the aggressive one. I don't want to be the one like it's all about. I want him to take the lead. I want him to take out the garbage. I want chivalry is not dead. I want to be
There you go with
treated
that.
like a woman, and I want to honor him in his masculinity as a man. So I think a lot of times as women, we're strong and we're powerful, and maybe you've been hurt in the past, but let that go and forgive and learn how to love and learn how to receive the love of a strong man who wants to be in your life. That's
I agree
what
with
I think.
that. I mean, my queen had to hold me down for a few years, but I still had to be that man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I had to hold it down. I couldn't like just crawl up in a corner and like be less than what I was, because that's not how we got together.
That's right.
And that's how you weather the storm. So I totally agree with you saying that.
I mean,
100%.
and my husband, when I met him, he had been on his job, he had a 401k. But then as my career grew, I became the primary breadwinner. However, I tell people all the time, I couldn't do what I do without him. Now, yes, can I make it without a man? Absolutely. But I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I love being with my man. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
I
happy.
prefer it, and I prefer having the support. And it's not about who makes what money. All decisions still get made collectively.
Right.
I'm not running around. Oh, because I made it, then I get to do this. No, it's still a team effort. It's a partnership, and he has been, there for our children and my mom and my grandmother and my family and friends and stuff. So I really honor that, and I think at the end of the day, we got to start looking at more than just money when it comes to what makes a successful relationship.
Absolutely. What's that next book you got right there?
Oh, this is Living Check to Monday. This is it's short, it's smooth, it's easy to read, it's laugh out loud funny. I should have brought y'all some. I'll make sure I get some back because we don't live that far away. And then this is The Symphony, and Lyte wrote the foreword, and it's a guide to creating and balancing multiple streams of income. And once again, I say everybody should have multiple streams of income. If you go to school to be a teacher, that's great. But then what are you going to do on the side? Consulting, tutoring. If you're going to be a lawyer, that's great. That's fine. What you going to do on the side? What other businesses are you going to have?
Yeah.
Because if you have just one stream of income, again, look what happened in 2008. You know, if the economy crashes, if your job no longer exists because they don't like you or because what you do no longer requires a human, How many jobs have been eliminated because a human
yes.
is
Technology.
not required?
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
taking over, yeah.
It's scary, actually.
It's a trip.
Yes.
So you better do something. I don't know what you're going to do. You wipe people's butts to do something. I don't know what you're going to do. But you better get you a job that requires.
Let's say figure it out ASAP and be
Yeah.
great at whatever you do.
Yeah. A talk radio, because I don't think they can get, robots to do this. So, get you a job that requires a human being attached to it. Because I'm telling you, if they could get rid of humans, that's what they will do.
Yeah.
And I love that you guys, you guys have these forums where you guys educate these women too on this, because that's the problem, is that we have this younger generation, because I feel like it takes women like you to grab a younger woman to help her to be a better woman.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
And so these girls, they need their minds expanded and open, because we do get stuck living paycheck to paycheck or paycheck to Monday. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have anybody to educate us, because it's not that we're ignorant. Nobody told us.
Nobody
anything
told
about it.
us.
Yeah.
Like,
We
I don't
weren't
remember
informed. Yeah.
having these conversations when I was in my. Had somebody told me, I would have listened. Had somebody told me, and my situation is as ridiculous as it can get, because not only I was bad with money, I was a math major. I was a finance major at a really, really great school. I have degrees in money and finance, and I didn't think it applied to me.
Oh, wow.
But that's how delusional we get as human beings, when you're the ego and you think you're smart and you think and at some point it all comes tumbling down. And we didn't have mentors, and I think that's the biggest thing that we need to look out. I look at the millennials and I'm like, okay, great. Y'all smart. Y'all technology, you're technologically savvy.
With it. Yep.
But they going to spin out of control or something. They don't even know phone numbers. Like, I know phone numbers when I was a kid, but I don't know many of them now, the new ones that I get. But it's something to it. And I think mentorship is really important, which is why Lyte and what she does with Hip Hop Sisters, I was attracted to being able to help her build that. And that's what we're doing.
And I love, like, that you never compromised, and you never, you know what I mean, did anything where you were dressing less to try to sell that. You were always who you were.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that you had to fight a lot for that too, because I'm just, as a woman, you know what I mean, sometimes it's easier to take that path where you're just dressed less, because you kind of get through the doors a little faster, but then you don't last very long.
That's so funny, dress less.
Yeah. It's true though, because I'm one of those that I will not do that. You cannot compromise me. People say, oh, she's a radio personality. I say, no, I'm a Christian who happens to be a radio personality. Do you
All right
understand?
now.
So
Come on, in
I
Jesus'
love
name.
the fact that that you, and I wasn't always like that. I changed.
Yeah,
Yeah, honey, we done all been
I've been down the other road.
We all got
But
past
the
that.
fact of the matter is that, I will not compromise my integrity. I refuse to, but it has been a lot harder because I won't do it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, I came up in the era where record labels just let you do you. They didn't really have a way of sort of compartmentalizing people and labeling, this is what that is, this is what that is. It was, you came out and you were free to speak about what you wanted to speak about, dress how you wanted to dress. I mean, case in point, all of the original, the Rakims and the Big Daddy Kanes and the Heavy D's and all of these folks, like, you're never going to see or hear anyone like them. They were original. I think there's something to be said for authenticity. And so the record labels didn't tamper with me at all. It was like, do what you want. And as a matter of fact, there was one time where I had entered into my 20s and I wanted to be a little sexier, and the record label executive said, no. Put your jeans on and your T-shirt, get out there in the middle of the street and stay as young as you can.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that. And from that moment on, I was just like, okay, I'm going to take this nice and slow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's all about being you. If I could give people, any advice, number one is acknowledge God in all your ways. He will direct your path. And number two is be yourself. When we started working together, and, she and Russell Simmons and a lot of them wanted me to do television, and I wasn't ready. I don't like people. I don't want to say hi. I don't want to put on no makeup. All this stuff. I don't. It's like,
I don't want to say
you want me
hi.
to say hi to people? I can't do it. It's too much work. I might not feel like it that day. It's just all of that crazy
Social
stuff.
call go with it right now.
Yeah, I love it.
No, but somebody told her that some of the things are not politically correct.
I was like, I ain't running for president. I ain't running for office. I don't have to. What y'all want me to be political? I can't do it. Anyway, it's too much to think about. But I understood that I had a message, and early on, because when people see me on the Steve Harvey Show helping families like the office, people buy the books and they call and they want help. And so I help people on national television, but I also help the everyday woman who just calls my office and only makes $900 a month, but she's spending $2,000. And I get on the phone with her, I say, now, what are we going to do with this? Your phone bill is $300. Like, I talk to people, myself. And early on, Lyte was like, well, tone it down a bit, baby. I was like, let me tell y'all something. It ain't gonna work.
Lynn said no.
It ain't gonna work.
You getting the real Lynn
You
right
getting
here.
Chi-Town all day long. And I'm gonna tell you what it is. I'm gonna hug you up if you cry. I'm gonna slap you upside the head if you don't do what I tell you. And then I'm gonna get you back together. So really, all of that is whatever it is that you're doing, just be yourself. Be yourself. And I think, going back to what you said, women, they think they have to wear less clothes to get the deal, or they have to do something different to be. And the truth is, if you do something that's not yourself to get it, how you gonna keep it?
Right.
How you gonna keep it? Because
And what will
eventually
you
the
be
real
willing
you.
to do?
Yeah, you're gonna get exposed in a minute. It's gonna come out and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. The
And then you
real
kind of
you.
set yourself up for what more are you gonna do to keep it now, because you've sold yourself this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And the world has literally tricked you into thinking that you have no worth outside of your body.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like we always say, okay, you get it. Sometimes it's easier to get it, but maintaining is a whole different story. Now you got to maintain it.
Yeah.
Now that's a different story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the thing about success. And, really initially, I was very comfortable being behind the scenes, helping Lyte expand her brand. We work with Lil Mama. I've worked with Sheila E. and Les Brown and, folks from all walks of the entertainment business. But the truth is, the more successful you get, the more responsibility you have. To whom much is given, much is required. And so.
Wow.
We're here. We're doing it.
Giving us the knowledge.
Yeah.
Man,
I feel like I took a class right now. Yes,
and
I
K-Day
love
Nation,
it.
like, if they want to reach out to you, how can they do that? Like, if they were Instagram number, how can they do it?
LynnRichardson.com or follow at Lynn Richardson. And MC Lyte is
At MC Lyte and MCLyte.com.
Yeah. Definitely, man. Gotta check it out, man. We appreciate y'all stopping by. We need those books, though.
Thank you.
Yes.
We need them books.
And you guys got anything going on in LA that soon or something, so we can get ready for it and tell people, and we could be there maybe?
Yes. Every year we do the Wealth Experience at the top of the year, and it's all about, coming together in the beginning of the year, right after New Year's Eve, so the first weekend after New Year's Eve. So we have the Wealth Experience. We're always doing something on money and business and relationships. We're members at Cali Worship. We've got something coming up in a couple of weeks. I'll let you know.
Please do.
But we're always doing something, in terms of empowerment, men, women. We do a men, money, and marriage versus women, wealth, and relationships. And it's funny, but it's also educational and entertaining. So we're out here grinding. Out here.
We would love to be a part of that.
Yeah,
if you ever need us to
absolutely.
come speak on something, man, we would love to get on a panel. I mean, because we have stories, we have testimonies that we would love to share too as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
And really quick, before you dip, Lyte, I just want to ask, we always talk about K-Day, and K-Day is the first hip hop station in the world.
Yes.
And a lot of people know about K-Day. But as far as K-Day is concerned, I just want to hear your thoughts on the importance of this station and what it means to the city of LA, what it means to hip hop in general.
Oh, goodness. K-Day means everything. I remember coming out here. And matter of fact, I have a picture, I think, in 1989 sitting outside of the K-Day van. Like this van that had the letters, what was it, 1315?
Oh, 1580 AM, K-Day, 1580 AM, yes.
And I mean, just to have the love and support, that station really made cha-cha-cha out here on the West Coast. And so I definitely respect the brand. And we didn't even have that back at home, back on the East Coast, supposedly where it all started. We had these little hip hop shows that lasted for 2 hours out of the day. But to come to K-Day and just just have hip hop all day long is a whole nother situation.
It was unthinkable back then, you know what I mean?
Right,
And
it
look what
was.
hip hop is now.
Hip hop took over.
They saw the future.
Wow.
Yeah, it definitely did.
The future has always been hip hop to me, but I love it. Yes, and the fact that you're here, thank you so much.
Yep.
I don't know if you even realize what you mean to women in hip hop,
Thank you.
but you mean I'm already getting emotional.
I know.
Would you cut it out?
Yeah.
Stop.
You mean a lot to us.
Thank you.
It's been a struggle for women in hip hop, women of color too.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
I
the
don't know why I got so
acknowledgement.
emotional right
Hey,
now.
I know why. Like,
Why I got so
good. Yeah.
emotional.
legendary
Yes.
right here.
Yeah.
This is
Ah,
legendary.
this is amazing, but I really would like you to know the importance you have for people. That people have this love for you.
Thank you.
Sometimes you don't get to see it because you're just so busy shaking and moving and you're busy trying to get
Yep.
to the next project.
Just know,
Yeah.
here in LA, this city embraces you and they love and they know what you've done for hip hop.
Wow.
Thank you.
MC Lyte.
Hey,
MC
MC
Lyte.
Lyte
The
on the
godmother of hip
microphone.
hop, right?